had to get this of longtime civil rights activist John Lewis. Now, he was also a congressman, served in the Congress for over 30 years, but he played a huge part in the civil rights movement. And he also participated in numerous sit-ins and protests. So, RIP to John Lewis. What's cracking, my good people, subscribers and viewers? This your boy P9, and I'm coming to you live from downtown Atlanta, Georgia. This is my first vlog officially in Atlanta, and Atlanta happens to be my hometown. I was partially raised here in Atlanta, so this is a homecoming of sorts. This is the city I was born in. So it's going to be a lot of nostalgia in this video. But without further ado, I am starting off here in front of the Flatiron building in the fairly popular district of downtown. And this is just before we reach Peachtree Street. We're actually at the corner of Lucky and Broad Street, and as this is Flatiron building. Now, this Flatiron building was actually built 5 years before the Flatiron building in Atlanta, in New York. So it was designed by Bradford Gilbert, and this building actually has 11 stories. So this is a building that honestly I never really noticed growing up, or at least I never really paid much attention to it. But yes, this is called a Flatiron building, and it's right across from here at Woodruff Park. As you can see here comes the ATL in wood. It's like a little jungle gym of sorts. Now, Peachtree Street, which is where I'm at right now, is the major, it's like the major corridor downtown Atlanta. And as with many cities across America, Atlanta has experienced many changes over the years. It's been experienced many changes, not only recently, but over the course of the past 20, 30, 50 years or so. This was never here before. This wasn't here before. This is actually, last time I've been to Atlanta downtown, it's been quite some time. Every time I come back to the city, it's always something changing as far as, you know, new construction, new sculptures. But those are the things that you see mostly in these cities, especially one of Atlanta's magnitude. Because think about it, like, I probably say the biggest growth, or the biggest growth that Atlanta has experienced was between, like, after 1996, when the Olympics was hosted in Atlanta. Yeah.
I don't know, but video that G I put up mostly.
Now keep in mind, Atlanta started off as a major railroad junction way back in the 1800s. Like, Atlanta was a major railroad junction. It was just strictly, primarily a terminus. Actually, the name of Atlanta was Terminus once upon a time, before it was Atlanta. Before Atlanta blew up to be the city that it is today. And I can't remember if it was I think it was during the Civil War, Atlanta was actually burned to the ground. So there's no type of pre-Civil War structures remaining in Atlanta because it was burned to the ground during the Civil War. So many of these buildings, or all of the buildings actually, are post-Civil War buildings. So just wanted to turn around, reverse course. We're gonna head on down to Peachtree Street. Before we do that, we're actually going to head to the Sweet Auburn district, Auburn Avenue. So stay tuned for that. Welcome to the sweet Auburn district of Atlanta, Georgia. This is Black Wall Street of Atlanta, Auburn Avenue. So as you can see, right here, in 1900, business and professional firms at this end of Auburn Avenue were primarily white-owned and segregated, including the United Investment Corporation building, the Equitable Credit Corporation, and the Southern Bell Telephone and Telegraph Company. But this brother right here, Peyton Allen, within the next 10 years, he would integrate this block of Auburn Avenue. And Spratling, and him and Spratling established the Atlanta Steam Dye and Atlanta Cleaning Company. Allen, a teacher and the University of Atlanta alumnus, opened a law office and advocated equal rights for African Americans. Atlanta streetcars were segregated by ordinance after 1890, prompting black citizens to boycott the trolleys around the turn of the century. Men such as Allen rode bicycles rather than sit in segregated streetcars, but they were unable to reverse the trend towards legislated segregation. So again, this was during segregation era. So it was very difficult for integration during that time. And this was many years before the Civil Rights Movement. As you can see right here, this happens to be about migration and resettlement. And following the Civil War, opportunities in Atlanta attracted thousands of African Americans to the city in desperate need of physical and social repair. Blacks immigrated from rural Georgia and arrived by foot, train, or wagon, hoping to defy the status quo and seek their fortunes as newly freed people. Again, you had a lot of economic opportunities in the big city of Atlanta, where a lot of the formerly or the recently freed slaves, they came from all these rural areas and came and brought their intellect and their work ethic over here and was able to build. And I like this right here. United Way of Greater Atlanta. These two beautiful sisters on this mural. But there's a lot of history in Atlanta, and it's Civil War history. There's a lot of civil rights history, and there's a lot of Reconstruction post-war history as well here in the city of Atlanta. Similar to Montgomery, just like Montgomery, Atlanta has a lot of those civil rights history and Civil War history. I even consider Montgomery to be the older cousin to Atlanta, you know, and Atlanta is that little cousin that eventually outgrew its big cousin. See, Auburn Avenue is slightly east of downtown, so we're looking westward towards downtown. As you can see, there goes the Weston building, there's a Georgia Pacific building, and there's the AT&T building right there. So Atlanta has a lot of skyscrapers. Now for those that are looking for the riverfront footage, like any footage on the riverfront, well, you won't get that here in Atlanta, because Atlanta does not have a riverfront. They don't have a downtown riverfront. They're not located near any major rivers. but you'll definitely get a lot of tall buildings, a lot of green space, and a lot of museums, a lot of historical sites in downtown Atlanta. And there goes one of them right here. This is this building right here is the Apex Museum. And the Apex is basically, the Apex stands for the African American Panoramic Experience. So it gives you a panoramic view of the African American experience in Atlanta. "100 Black Men of America." So this is right here, historic site in journalism. So this building right here is where W.A. Scott founded the Atlanta Daily World here in 1928, and this is the oldest continuing black-owned and controlled daily newspaper in the United States. So W.A. Scott founded the Atlanta Daily World, and this is the building right here at 145 Auburn Avenue. We go ahead and cross over here. So I wonder if this is built like the Coke bottle, if this is like structured to be like in the design of a Coke bottle, because you know Atlanta is the headquarters of Coca-Cola. This here is John Calhoun Park, which is also part of the Sweet Auburn Avenue district. They got they have a Caribbean restaurant over there called Mangoes.
Spray wash works.
Yes, they have a sweet Auburn grocery store over on the other side. Now this church right here, this building you see over here, is called Big Bethel AME Church. So again, once upon a time, this was the Black Wall Street of Atlanta. It's essentially a shell of its former self, and it's unfortunate because they were really thriving. Black people were really thriving out here. At one point in history. But at least they have the monuments and the historical sites to commemorate that successful time and period. Black is beautiful, that's right. The mural over there. Really, all colors are beautiful as long as you're a beautiful person on the inside, you know. I just want to put that out there. It's not always about the color of the skin. It's about, like the brother Martin Luther King said, it's about the content of the character. And over here is the Sweet Auburn Market. It looks like it's abandoned. And over there is Grady Memorial Hospital. Shout out to all the Grady babies. As somebody who grew up in Atlanta, we did hear a lot of people repping Grady Hospital, saying they Grady babies. Myself, I wasn't a Grady baby. I was born at a hospital that I don't even know if it's still up and running. And if it is, they changed the name of it. It's called West Paces Ferry Hospital. Or it was called West Paces Ferry Hospital. So I'm not a Grady baby, but shout out to all the Grady babies out there. Yeah, so underneath this tunnel right here, there are these banners with a series of businesses that thrive during the heyday of Sweet Auburn Avenue. One of them right here, I don't know if you can see it, but it's Citizens Trust Bank. Over here is WERD radio station. This one right here, Hogga Brooks Funeral Home. You have the Auburn Branch Carnegie Library, Cox Brothers Funeral Home, Fire Station number 6, Ebenezer Baptist Church, Wheat Street Baptist Church, and the Prince Hall Masonic Temple. But yeah, I'm right here on Sweet Auburn Historic Avenue. And you can see over here, there are a bunch of images plastered to the wall that shows the landscape of Auburn Avenue back in the 20th century. Sweet Auburn Kitchen and Bar. Looks like they're having some event on Auburn Avenue today. More construction in Atlanta, just as I anticipated. This looks like they're building, I'm not sure what it is, but they have retail space available for lease right here on, again, historic Auburn Avenue. And we also have Wheat Street Baptist Church right here. There goes Hogga Brooks. It's like a church. And in this building over here at the end is the Cox Brothers Funeral Home. Just wanted to add that in there. Well, I made it here to the Martin Luther King Jr. National Historical Park and Preservation District. This is a historical district located right here east of downtown Atlanta. And one of the major sites on this particular historical park is the Ebenezer Baptist Church, where Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. served as the co-pastor from 1960 until he passed away in 1968. And since then, Raphael Warnock, who's also senator in the U.S. Senate, is now the pastor at this church. And here we are, right here at Martin Luther King Jr. National Historical Park. And this statue right here, this is a man holding up his child to the sun. And the title of this is called Behold. So it's actually, oh wow, oh, so it's Kunta Kinte actually. It's Kunta Kinte with the baptism of the infant Kizzy, you know, from the movie Roots. That's what this represents. Okay, I did not know that until now. But see, this is the first time I visited this particular, this is the first time I've actually visited a National Historical Park, believe it or not. And by the way, this is dedicated to the memory of Martin Luther King Jr. in 1986 by Mural. Great work, great work. So is this the gift shop? I guess this is supposed to be the gift shop for Ebenezer Baptist Church, but across the street is the actual Ebenezer Baptist Church. And right here, this building over here is the visitor center. There's some nicely landscaped gardens over here as well, as you can see. A series of roses and flowers over here. I mean, quite frankly, if you're a history buff, then it's really not quite a visit to Atlanta unless you come to the Martin Luther King Jr. Historical Park. So there goes the man himself, the namesake of this historical park, Mr. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. And it celebrated its 40th year anniversary in 2020. So I was wondering, that's when so it opened in 1980. I was wondering when it opened up, but per usual with museums, they'll have like the timelines. Of events that took place. So Ebenezer Baptist Church was actually restored in 2007, and it completed its restoration in 2011. Yeah. About a few weeks ago, I was in Memphis. I was actually at the Lorraine Motel where he was assassinated. It's crazy because I went there a few weeks ago, and now here I am at where it all started. You know, he was actually born in Atlanta, but he's lived in multiple places, you know, including Montgomery, where I also visited about a little over a month ago, where Martin Luther King Jr. was the pastor at Dexter Avenue Baptist Church. So Dr. King was very active. And here goes another man of peace and nonviolence, Mr. Mohandas Gandhi. This is, according to George C. Marshall, U.S. Secretary of State, Mahatma Gandhi was the spokesman for the consciousness of all mankind. Generations to come will scarce believe that such a one as this ever in flesh and blood walked upon this earth. And that's coming from Albert Einstein. So yeah, they go. Yep, that was Mr. Gandhi for you. I guess him and Dr. King were very similar in that they were nonviolent in their approach, and they were really great speakers. And right here, let me back up for a second. Okay, this is the International Civil Rights Walk of Fame. Okay, so basically you just have a bunch of individuals, famous individuals, who have their footprints right here. You have Nancy Wilson. You have Ted Turner, media mogul. You have Mayor Maynard Jackson, Congressman John Conyers. Dick Gregory has one over here. Henry Aaron, or Hank Aaron. Mr. Harry Belafonte, Ralph McGill, Addie Wyatt, Judge Elder P. Tuttle Sr., Dr. Benjamin Hooks, Tyrone Brooks Sr., Clarence B. Jones, Wyatt T. Walker. There's a whole bunch of them. Jesse Hill Jr., Herman Russell, Dr. Maya Angelou, Prime Minister Michael Manley, Edward Brooke, he was a senator, Tom Joyner, radio personality, Reverend Al Sharpton, Sammy Davis Jr., Kathy Hughes, Danny Bakewell Sr., Mayor Sam Massel, Mayor Ernest N. Mural. Oh look, they got Irvin Magic Johnson, Congressman William Clay Sr., Dr. Erika Bennett, The Links Incorporated, Dr. Cameron Alexander, Father Michael Fledger, I think I'm pronouncing that right, and Reverend C.T. Vivian and Roberto Gozuta. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right either. But those individuals have been inducted into the Civil Rights Hall of Fame. Congratulations to them. Here goes a playground. Picture of Dr. King and his daughter Bernice, and right here is this quote: "I have a dream that my 4 little children will one day live in a nation where they will not be judged by the content of their skin but by the content of their character." And that was from his famous "I Have a Dream" speech. Here's another image right here of King with his son Martin III and his daughter Yolanda. The community in which I was born was quite ordinary in terms of social status. No one had attained any great wealth. It was a wholesome community. Most of our neighbors were deeply religious. Yes, that's facts. That's how it was during those times. We might not have had a lot of things, but you know, we were religious. We were rooted in family and morals and values. So that makes sense. And you don't really have to be wealthy to have morals and to be righteous individuals. You just have to have an open mind and an open heart, really. But that concludes my walk on the King Trail. Stay tuned for more footage. Hey, this is it. This is the event I was talking about earlier when I was walking down Auburn Avenue, and I said there's an event going on. Well, here it is. It's just basically a collection of black-owned businesses, and you know, we out here just doing great things, just trying to support our people, you know. So, you know, Okay, so it's called the Sweet Auburn Spring Fest. That's what it's called. They got a little bit of everything. Food, herbal products like sea moss, clothing, soaps, all type of stuff. You name it. I just purchased some beautiful products. I got some they have bracelets and Mother's Day gifts and a bunch of other products as well. You know, flowers, baskets, teddy bears, you name it. Garments Creations. Come support these beautiful sisters right here. You know, we definitely got to support small businesses, you know. Definitely got to support small businesses, definitely. You know, they sell jewelry. They got wine sets, bear sets, spa sets. I mean, I know you sisters would love this, so. I appreciate everything you down there with that. Hey, not a problem. Hey, you take care, sister. All right now. I'm over here on Wesley Dobbs Avenue at the corner of Peachtree Street, the main drag downtown. And here is the Candler building in the Candler Hotel. And over there is the Central Library of Fulton County. There goes the Weston Tower right there. And now we're in the Peachtree Center district. So in this district, you're going to see a series of hotels, a couple of musical venues, restaurants, of course. And there's also a MARTA station. And here's Peachtree Center. This is where the Atlanta streetcar runs. Right here is the Ritz-Carlton Hotel. Over there across the street is a juke joint. And they're playing live music as we speak. This is the 191 Peachtree Tower. Right here. It's actually taller than that. See? It's the Westin Hotel. The corner of Peachtree and Andrew Young International Boulevard. There goes the Hard Rock Cafe. Rotating at the top. Interesting sculpture. Sitting right out here in front of the Hotel Indigo. And you see these little waterfalls right here. America Smart. Now just to let you guys know, this is going to be either a 2 or 3 part vlog, meaning I'm gonna come back to the city of Atlanta and get some more parts of the city, because Atlanta is just that big, it's just that much to see. So it's gonna be multiple videos. So this is part 1. When part 2 and part 3 is coming, that remains to be seen, but this is part 1, just so you know. See, today I'm just going to get primarily downtown. I got Auburn Avenue earlier. I'm getting downtown and get Centennial Park area as well. And that'll pretty much do it. This right here is Truist Plaza. It's the Truist Plaza building. So we're actually getting closer and closer to Midtown. This is the part of Peachtree Street that closes in on Midtown. But this is the Truist Plaza right here. As you can see, a lot of the architecture is steel right here. But if you look at this sculpture right here. That's a really nice piece of art right here. Ballet Olympia, Paul Manship, conceived and designed by John Portman. This group, Ballet Olympia, was adapted from Paul Manship's 3-foot bronze figure. I think as a tribute to this renowned American sculptor. So I think that's pronounced Maynard, 1953. It's a cool sculpture. It's a cool sculpture. John Portman is another, I forgot to mention John Portman's name. His name is on a lot of like streets, parks. I never really knew who he was. I used to see it all the time growing up, see his name, but never really knew who he was. Never like bothered to like, you know, do any research or anything like that. He was basically just like a, you know, he was a real estate developer and architect. He had like a lot of futuristic designs for buildings that fit perfectly with the vision of Atlanta, because Atlanta has a lot of modern architecture. Their buildings are, so yeah. John Portman did his thing. On Andrew Young International Boulevard, making my way towards Centennial Olympic Park. And here comes a statue of Andrew Young himself. That's Andrew Young. And a little closer right here. Looks like a replica of it looks similar to the Washington Monument, that golden sculpture right there. This is the Andrew Young Park, and right here it says Andrew Young Plaza was designed to honor and pay tribute to the life, historic contributions, and legacy of Andrew Young. As a leader, preacher, legislator, educator, and ambassador, Young demonstrated his advocacy for human rights. Andrew Young is a legend, and his legacy continues to evolve. So he was also part, Andrew Young was also part of the civil rights movement and the nonviolence movement as an approach to obtaining civil rights for African Americans. Let me go ahead and continue. That view of the city from over here. You see that Ferris wheel right there? It's called the Sky View Atlanta, and right next to that on the left is the Tabernacle. As I just entered the Centennial Park District, Here we are at Centennial Olympic Park. And there goes the Olympic rings to symbolize Atlanta's hosting the 1996 Olympics. And remember, Centennial Park opened in 1996, the same year that the Olympics came to Atlanta. And that was actually a celebration of 100 years of this particular park. And on this Sunday afternoon, on Mother's Day, there's a lot of families and kids out here just enjoying this Sunday afternoon. It's a beautiful day. Beautiful day, man. This reminds me of the time when I was a kid, and occasionally, every now and then, we'll come downtown and we'll go to the Centennial Olympic Park and play in the fountains and play red light, green light as well in the little grassy areas. So I get nostalgia every time I come back to Atlanta. This is the first time I've been back in a while, and like I said, a lot of fond memories come to mind. But as you can see right here, and again, you can still get a nice view of the city from right here at the park. Another thing I forgot to mention, that Atlanta is known as a city of trees. So what they lack in waterfront or riverfront, what they lack in that, they definitely make up with its lush green trees. But it's a lot of green space, like a lot of like open grass areas to sit down, have picnics, run around with the children, all that good stuff. And as you can see over here, these are like some waterfalls right here. Waterfall. Now, if you were to come down to the downtown area of Atlanta, Centennial Park District is by far the most touristy part. I mean, they have a children's museum nearby. They have the World of Coca-Cola. They have the College Football Hall of Fame Museum. And they also have the CNN Center. I just wanted to come out here and capture all the good people out here, just out here enjoying themselves, enjoying this nice sunny afternoon. You see a family over there just having a good time, having a family picnic. here at Pemberton Place, named after John Pemberton, inventor of the world famous Coca-Cola beverage. And over here we have the world of Coca-Cola, along with the Georgia Aquarium. Now right over here is the Georgia Aquarium. I believe it's the largest aquarium in the United States in terms of square footage. They're definitely known for their beluga whales. But yeah, there goes Georgia Aquarium. Again, great place to bring the children and the family. Very family friendly area over here. And there goes the World of Coca-Cola building right here. Now the World of Coca-Cola building, I do remember this. It actually used to be located near 5 Points downtown. It used to be located near 5 Points. I do remember that. I can't remember how long this building has been over here at Centennial Park, but you can definitely tell by the architecture it hasn't been that long. And in front there goes a sculpture of the bottle top, the Coca-Cola bottle top or bottle cap, where you could actually take a picture in front of it. I see a lot of people taking pictures in front of it. So if you want to have a little photo op, there you go. Again, there goes the World of Coca-Cola building up close. I like how it blends in with the other buildings in the backdrop for downtown, the skyscrapers and everything of that nature, you know. Yeah. But we're moving closer to the National Center for Civil and Human Rights. Now this museum hasn't been here that long either. I believe it opened back in 2015 or 2016, because I remember I was still living in Atlanta at the time. In around 2014, I think they were in the process of building it at the time. But here it is, the completed National Center for Civil and Human Rights. And I don't know if you can see it from over here, but you have the Coca-Cola building to the left of this Civil Rights Museum. And they're actually open, but now they're not open now, but they're open in, generally speaking, if you want to come while they're expanding. They're adding 2 new wings to this particular building, so they're expanding the building, but it's still open as they're expanding. They're adding 2 new wings to this building, so it must be very successful. I mean, it's a huge draw for the city for sure, because Atlanta has a huge civil rights history. Again, Montgomery is the big cousin to Atlanta. At least that's how I look at it. Because they both have a lot of history in civil rights. And Martin Luther King Jr. has ties to both cities, or had ties to both cities. But I had to see further down that way. It looked down that way is Midtown. So we're actually facing north. It's like Midtown and Tech Square over there where Georgia Tech is located. On our next vlog, we're gonna actually hang out over there. There goes another entrance to the aquarium right over here. And there's even more sculptures right over there for Centennial Park. Love this sculpture right here. There goes This is part of the pathfoundation.org. And I wonder if that is the belt line that they've been talking about, because I remember they've been talking about the belt line in Atlanta for many, many years. I'm talking about going back to when I was in high school. That's when they would start. So I'm pretty sure they've come a long way in the development of the Beltline project here in Atlanta. But over across the street over there goes the Children's Museum of Atlanta. So it's at the ground level of what looks like this massive residential building. So that's pretty neat. There goes Centennial Olympic Park and the 100 logo engraved in stone. Up here real quick. Okay, so these stones basically show all of the events and the participants and the countries that they represented, as well as the medal that they won in different events. There was so many events and so many participants, they had to have 4 stones individually carved out. So Centennial Olympic Park is not only just a park, it's like almost like an outdoor museum of sorts, with all the monuments and displays and works of art. And I also want to take this time to say RIP to the individuals who were harmed and affected by the tragedy that happened during the 1996 Olympics. That was a Centennial Olympic Park shooting. Yeah.
But you go, they'll do some shit with the eye. Oh yeah. That's the move. Right there.
I forget what they call those little cars. I think they're like slingshots. I don't know. I forget what they call them. I could be wrong. Here goes the sky view, and again, there goes the tabernacle right behind that. Honestly, I never knew what the tabernacle was for. I mean, I think I want to say it was for like the church, the church. But at the same time, I also wanted to say it was like a performance venue. I'm not really sure. I used to hear about it and never knew what it was or what its function was. Anybody from Atlanta who's familiar with that, please let me know what the tabernacle. Matter of fact, I can just look it up. Never mind. They have a Margaritaville bar here. Interesting. I did not know that. They must have just opened that recently. There goes the Omni Hotel over there. There's actually two buildings that the Omni Hotel occupies. So that was a nice stroll in Centennial Olympic Park, as well as over there by the World of Coca-Cola Aquarium and all that good stuff. There goes another entrance to the park right there. Now I'm over here at Marietta Street. Getting ready to make our way towards the athletic venues. And in this building here is the CNN Center. So Atlanta is the headquarters of CNN. Oh wow, a whole traffic light pole had fell down. Did the wind do that, or was that purposely knocked down? I'm not sure. Yeah, people, we're inside the CNN Center, in the studio area, as you can see. This is the inside of the CNN Center, and being that this is a Sunday afternoon, it is a ghost town in here right now. There's hardly anybody in here. There goes Cartoon Network right there. Ted Turner is the one who made all of this possible. Again, Ted Turner, a huge media mogul. TBS, Cartoon Network, CNN, just to name a few, are like the major networks that Ted Turner founded and basically drilled into mainstream society, you know. So shout out to Ted Turner. I remember those days watching the TBS Superstation and all the I remember, I think it was like the little Thursday night movies they had or something like that, or Dinner and a Movie, that's what it was called, Dinner and a Movie. And also watching the Braves games on TBS Superstation. So I just wanted to make note of that while I was right here at CNN Center. So it's a pretty dope place. As you can see, it's massive, and you can actually get studio tours, by the way. So if anybody's interested in coming to Atlanta and checking out the CNN Center, bring the kids and the family and get a studio tour, and you'll be good to go. This is a sculpture of the Modern Peach by Gregory Johnson, 2017. Really nice steel sculpture that sits right outside the State Farm Arena and the Georgia World Congress Center. And speaking of, there goes the State Farm Arena over here. So the State Farm Arena is the home of the Atlanta Hawks basketball team of the NBA. So I remember going to a few Hawks games growing up. This was back when the Hawks weren't too good. They weren't good back then. I'm gonna be honest. They were a long shot from where they are today. But you know, nevertheless, the fans supported them as much as they possibly could, given the circumstances back then. but now they're a good, really good franchise. You know, DeJounte Murray and Trae Young. Hopefully they can keep that squad that they have together, keep them intact for many years to come. But yeah, this is the State Farm Arena. You know, they unfortunately didn't make the playoffs this season. But there's always next year, right? And the year after that. So shout out to the Atlanta Hawks. And there goes the Georgia World Congress Center across from here. This is where many events, conventions, you name it, you know, exhibitions are held right here in this very building. So you have the Congress Center, you have State Farm Arena, and a little further down we have the Mercedes-Benz Stadium. We'll see that in just a minute. Oh, there she is. There goes the other side of State Farm Arena. But Mercedes-Benz Stadium is somewhat isolated from the rest of downtown. And right here, it's this little park right here, or green space, called the Georgia International Plaza. As you can see over here, there's some cranes, construction equipment over there. So I'm not sure what they're building over there. But, you know, Atlanta, every time I come back to Atlanta, each time I come back to Atlanta, literally they're building something else. So I mean, yeah, so it's no telling. It doesn't look like, from here, it doesn't look like it's going to be a hotel. It looks like it might be just another parking deck from where I'm standing right here, but there's no telling. See, I didn't even know this was over here. I had no idea. And goes a statue of, looks like an athlete doing some gymnastics. There goes a Hilton hotel, Signia by Hilton, and that looks like it just got built not too long ago. At the longest, a year ago. I mean, it looks brand spanking new. Real, very, very sleek design. But here we go. There she is. Mercedes-Benz Stadium. This is the current home of the Atlanta Falcons and Atlanta United soccer team. Now, of course, a couple of years ago, Atlanta United won the MLS Cup, the championship. And the Falcons came very close to winning this. They were so close to winning the Super Bowl about 7 years ago, but we're not going to talk about that. But yes, here is Mercedes-Benz Stadium. Look at that sleek, modern design. Of course, it replaced the longtime stadium of the Falcons, the Georgia Dome. And the Georgia Dome, crazy thing is, the Georgia Dome, at the time, it was demolished. I don't even think it was up for 25 years. It might have been maybe up for a little over 25 years. But, you know, they moved on, and now they have the Mercedes-Benz Stadium. Now, there was controversies, of course, with building this new stadium that I'll elaborate on at another time. But yeah, this is the stadium. Of course, there's no events going on right now.
Rideshare pickup zones are located on Northside Drive near Georgia World Congress Center, Building C.
I can't really get too close up on it because the gates are locked. But there goes the Falcon. I don't know if you can see it. It's a steel sculpture of the Falcon with its talons on the football.
And the Georgia World Congress Center.
See, I can't really get a good shot of it from over here. I'm gonna try to come over here a little bit. See if I can get it. But this is the Mercedes-Benz Stadium. And on that note, guys, I'm gonna conclude part 1 of the Atlanta vlogs with your boy P9. So again, this is part 1 of Atlanta. I do plan on coming back to do a part 2 and possibly a part 3. But until then, I'd like to thank you guys for tuning in, and stay tuned for part 2. And if you like this video, hit that like button and also hit that subscribe button along with the notification bell, so that way you get notifications each time I do a new post. And with that being said, thanks you guys for the support, and keep on supporting your boy. And until next time, have a blessed day. Happy Mother's Day to all my women, or to all my mothers out there who are viewing this. And with that being said, have a safe evening. God bless and peace.